This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Gipp, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news.
It's Monday, December 1st, 2025, and here are today's stories. You've probably seen the images online. Malnourished children, tearful parents, villages in crisis. They're powerful, heart-wrenching, and some are even calling it poverty porn. But what's really behind these images? Meanwhile, your mailbox could be disappearing? We dig into why some neighborhood drop boxes are gone and what it means for everyday life and getting your mail. With prices rising everywhere, shoppers are getting clever. From quick drives to cross-border trips, or even just online stores across the border, people are finding new ways to stretch every dollar. Back to where stories inspire. One of our field messengers returns to her old hometown in Sweden, uncovering the landmarks and local history that are fueling her next crime novel. In science news, a visionary physicist is sharing ideas that could change modern research as we know it. Think Tesla-level innovation meets big-picture theory. And the fruits and vegetables you pass by at the store, their imperfections are wasting tons of perfectly edible food, while millions struggle to get enough. It's not just wasteful, it's a moral challenge. If you've spent any time online in the last decade, you've likely seen it. The heartbreaking close-up of a malnourished child, a mother crying in a doorway, a cracked earth village with barefoot kids staring into the camera. These images were designed to make you feel something, usually guilt, urgency, or a duty to donate. It's one of the most powerful marketing tools in the charity and content creator world, and it has a name: poverty porn. The idea behind poverty porn is simple, but deeply problematic. It refers to images or stories that exploit suffering to provoke sympathy, often for fundraising, engagement, or personal branding. It's not new. Organizations have long relied on cliches like the starving child holding an empty bowl or the heroic white volunteer surrounded by black or brown children, but the practice is very much alive today. Modern content creators on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram often recreate the same narratives, using vulnerable communities as backdrops for heartwarming rescue videos or those feel-good volunteer videos designed to go viral. In all versions, old and new, poverty becomes a stage for someone else's story, rather than a complex social issue rooted in history, policy, and inequality.
Please stop creating, posting, liking, and sharing poverty porn. Poverty porn is when people roll up to individuals who are on the streets struggling with homelessness and addiction, and they start recording them and taking pictures of them and showing the world that they handed them some money or gave them some food or getting them to spill their guts so they can post on social media for likes and all that stuff. That's exploitation. Right? If you really want to serve other people, put all recording devices away. See someone's need, meet that need, right? Cultivate a relationship, get to know them, right? And support them in whatever humane way you can. But you don't need to, nor should you, videotape it or take pictures of it and then post it online, right? For many, many years, I worked as a street outreach worker. And rule number one in our teams was simple, right? No cameras, no recording devices, no press, ever. Put all that stuff away and simply serve others. See the need, meet the need.
But now, a new force is rewriting the rules. A new wave of hyper-manipulated imagery is now flooding the internet. And this time, it isn't even real. It's AI.
Aid groups, content creators, stock image platforms, and even well-known non-governmental organizations are generating synthetic images depicting extreme poverty, child marriage, refugee conditions, and sexual violence. According to global health professionals, the use of these AI images is growing rapidly, fueled by shrinking budgets, fundraising pressure, and the convenience of sidestepping messy real-world issues like consent or travel costs. AI poverty porn follows the same visual grammar as the old stuff, just exaggerated. Researchers have already collected hundreds of examples. Children huddled in muddy water, generic refugee camps populated by brown-skinned families, and children swimming through polluted rivers. Many of these images reinforce harmful stereotypes about Africa, India, Southeast Asia, and other regions that have historically been misrepresented. And because these images are cheap and perform well online, they're multiplying.
Guys, can you actually believe this? Some big aid organizations are here using AI-generated pictures of poor kids and fake refugee camps in their campaigns to get people to donate money. Sorry, the quality of these pictures is kind of bad, but the people in these photos, like these, do not actually even exist. Researchers have found that these fake poverty images are all over stock photo websites. Images of like starving kids, cracked dirt, crying girls in wedding dresses, and lots of them have been made by AI. The UN even had to delete a video with AI-generated reenactments of sexual violence. So this was reported on by The Guardian today, and I'm just in shock. Like, how did anyone think that this was okay?
As the aid sector experiments with AI, calls for clear ethical standards are growing. Organizations need guidelines on what AI can depict, transparency when images are synthetic, training on bias, and a commitment to community-led storytelling. Ethical consensual photography still matters. Poverty was never meant to be content for clicks, but AI now makes mass-producing images of suffering easy. And while traditional poverty porn objectified people, AI poverty porn erases them entirely.
UNN Field Messenger Irene investigates Staten Island's disappearing mailboxes, revealing why the Postal Service removed them and what it means for local residents and their daily mail.
Hello everyone, my name is Irene and I am your field messenger reporting for United Network News. Good day to you, and I hope you find this interesting. Last Sunday, I went to go visit a friend who lives in 2 communities away from me. She lives not too far away from the post office, so I brought some correspondence with me so that I can drop them off at the drop boxes in front of the post office. After my visit with my friend, I went to drop off my mail, and there were no drop boxes in front of the post office. I found that odd. So I decided to walk east where I knew there was another mailbox, and that mailbox also was removed. So needless to say, I had to wait for a work day, a Monday, to mail my post. So I decided to go to the same post office that Monday and inquire as to why these mailboxes were removed. When I asked the attendant, her response was theft. It took me aback that the only reason why they took these mailboxes from the community was theft. Now that took me aback because I know thieves can be ingenious in how to steal correspondence, as people like to mail cards with money and things of that nature. And this becomes a major inconvenience to the community because this area that she lives in is mostly elderly and also a large handicapped community. So this poses a major inconvenience for these groups of people. So I decided to find a mailbox somewhere in Staten Island, which was very hard to find. As I drove down the major avenues, there were none to be had. And I finally found one mailbox that was really close to the court system as I inspected this mailbox, it's really hard for thieves to really get into this mailbox and steal posts. So if you can tell, there are just small slats that have just enough room for you to mail a card or your bills. So this poses some more questions as to why they removed mailboxes from an entire zip code. As far as I can tell, there are 3 zip code communities within Staten Island that no longer have mailboxes. This decision from the United States Postal Service just makes you think as to really what the real core reason is to why they removed these postal boxes. It's just theft, or is it a more underlying problem of what's going on within the Postal Service? Well, thank you for listening and thank you for watching.
With prices climbing pretty much everywhere, people are getting a lot more strategic about where they shop. Cross-border shopping has become a go-to move for anyone trying to stretch their budget, whether it's a quick drive, a cheap flight, or even just switching to stores across the border online. And in regions where borders are easy to cross, this trend is even stronger.
The European Union is a perfect example of this. Persistent inflation has pushed prices up across the continent, so it's no shock shoppers are headed next door to find better deals. Because each country has its own VAT rate, excise taxes, and import duties, the same product can be noticeably cheaper just a few kilometers away. A European Central Bank study even found identical items can cost around 21% more on one side of a European border than the other, which definitely motivates people to look elsewhere. The Schengen Agreement makes this even smoother. No border checks means quick day trips for cheaper groceries or household goods. Belgium is one of the biggest examples, with many Belgians crossing into France, Germany, or Luxembourg to save money, sometimes up to 44% on certain items. The trend is also strong among Dutch shoppers who live near the German border.
Did you know, Po, that thousands of people living in the Netherlands drive to Germany just to buy groceries? Why do we go all the way to Germany? Simple, Po. Groceries there are way cheaper for some reason. Imagine saving 20 to 30% on your basics like cleaning supplies, bathroom supplies, drinks, pantry staples. For us mommies, every euro counts, di po ba? During our last trip, we stocked up on a month's worth of non-perishables. Dishwashing liquid, shampoo, milk, you name it. And the total is way much less than what we expected to pay back home. Ang sarap po ng feeling when you're able to save some money. Thinking of trying this yourself? Here's a quick tip. Make a list so you're less tempted to buy other things. Bring reusable bags. Check store hours, especially in certain areas in Germany.
Cross-border shopping can really shake up economies, and it cuts both ways. The country getting the shoppers sees a nice boost to local businesses, but the home country loses out on sales and tax revenue. Governments try to balance this, raise taxes too high and shoppers leave, but lower them too much and revenue drops. Ultimately, it's a win for one side and a headache for the other. This dynamic is clear between Canada and the United States. For years, Canadian visitors were a major source of spending for American outlet malls, restaurants, and hotels in places like New York, Michigan, and Washington State. However, higher exchange rates, tighter budgets, and rising political tensions have recently slowed this flow, leading to a noticeable economic impact. Spots like the Northeast Kingdom are really feeling it, with fewer Canadians crossing the border and local businesses taking the hit.
We've noticed a huge drop. Just people walking on the streets, they're not there, just The energy is just not even the same. We're actually down 26% for the month of July. Definitely have not seen the Canadian tourists or the American tourists going up to Canada.
Normally at this time of year, it would be common for us to see bicycles lined up and down our main street from Canada and to hear French being spoken in our shops and our restaurants. And this summer, almost none of that has happened. And that has a huge impact in a place like Newport and the Northeast Kingdom, where we have all kinds of business relationships and manufacturing relationships that go back and forth across this border.
It's going to be a struggle this winter. We rely on the tourists in the summertime.
In the end, cross-border shopping is all about people wanting the best deal, and most shoppers will gladly travel a little further if it means saving real money. As long as price gaps, tax differences, and better product availability exist, this trend isn't going anywhere. Whether it's across a highway or across a continent, people will always chase value wherever they can find it.
Amino acids play a vital role in maintaining your overall health and well-being. Not enough amino acids and protein daily can result in brain fog, hormone imbalances, digestive issues, cognitive function, lack of energy, lower immunity, decreased muscle strength, and much more. That's why we created our amino acid complex, packed with 21 free-form, easily digestible aminos that skip the breakdown and go straight to work energizing your mind and body. Used by athletes, vegans, and high performers. New Earth's amino acid complex helps your mind and body recover, rebuild, and renew daily. Subscribe now and optimize your life.
Hello, I'm Susan from Sweden.
Mwanda Michael from Eastern Uganda, Africa.
Hi, I'm Tim from Vancouver, Canada.
I'm Titeshwar Togao from Manipur State, India. I'm Gumba Obasi from Southeast Nigeria.
Arnaitwe Chakrini from Western Uganda, Mbarara.
At United Network News, you are the news.
My name's Christina, field messenger, report first one in the hurricane down here in Southern California from Mexico.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. At UNN, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Jason from United Network News. We're going to be doing some aircrete building with new technologies that allow us to live in comfort and also off the grid.
Take the next step in changing the way the world gets the news. Become a UNN field messenger today.
I am Michelle from South Africa, and we are the United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
If it is going to be, then it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Si va a ser así, depende de mí. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN.
UNN field messenger Susan reports from a Swedish town she once called home. She delves into its history, exploring landmarks like the old harbour cranes and the oil mountain as inspiration for her upcoming crime novel.
Hi, my name is Susan and I'm reporting from Örnsköldsvik on the northeast coast of Sweden for UNN. I lived here for 2 years as a student. It was during those years that I got the idea for my very first book. Today, almost 3 decades later, I return to rediscover the town. I'm here to do research behind my upcoming 13th crime novel, which in part takes place right behind me here by the old harbour cranes. Örnsköldsvik, or Övik as locals call it, grew from a small sawmill town in the 1800s into one of Sweden's key industrial hubs for paper mills, shipping and high-tech engineering. Today, Övik is mainly known for spitting out hockey pros like Peter Foppa Forsberg and the Sedin twins, amongst other hockey players that started their careers here. I find Övik easy to like, full of contrast with the industrial heritage, the sea, the steep mountains and the quiet forests surrounding it. Today I got to do research in 2 very different sites. First I went underground into the oil mountain an area blasted in the 50s for stockpiling oil. 13 cisterns could hold 30,000 cubic meters, or 8 million gallons of oil. Due to national security, I was not allowed to film, but here you see me and my son in one of the tunnels. On the contrary with the second spot, where there were no secrets. The two historic cranes are part of the city's identity, Örnsköldsvik's own miniature Eiffel Towers. They were constructed in the 50s and 60s here in town. The type is called vipparmskranar, or laughing cranes. Their design, with a counterbalanced, jointed arm, made loading and unloading ships faster and safer. This one could lift up to 6 tons, back when timber, oil and coal filled the docks. Today the harbour has changed. Apartments, cafes and a marina have replaced the old warehouses, but these cranes remain, heritage listed, still operational and lovingly maintained. Compared to Stockholm, where I live today, this town moves at its own pace, slower, steadier, with a kind of northern grounded mindset. Thank you for watching and for joining me here in Örnsköldsvik, the place where my journey as a writer truly began. Reporting for UNN, this is Susan.
UNN Field Messenger Lawrence interviews Dr. Weiping Yu at the Tesla Technology Conference in Albuquerque. He is a physicist and UN theory creator, sharing how his vision can transform modern science.
Hi, Field Messenger Lawrence here at the Tesla Tech Conference, reporting with UNN here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. How we're going to build it better is by doing it together. I'm here about to interview Dr. Weiping Yu, and it's amazing. He did an amazing presentation yesterday. Here he is. Hi, doctor. How you doing?
Doing great.
You have one message that you would like to get portrayed to the world. What would it be?
I would say the universe is actually not complicated, and we actually, if you wanted to truly know the secrets of the universe, you just focus on 3 things. So the secret of the universe lies in magnetism. That's the driver of all the force, all the lives, and vibration. That's the motion transmit communication, and the last one is the frequency. That's determine how you receive the message and the resonance. So I hope the universe, actually the entire universe, we are all connected, not only human to human, and also the human to nature, through one fundamental magnetic field, which is a physical field, is permeate all the visible space. The reason we can see light, the reason people can perceive other people's thoughts remotely, all the signal goes through, transmitted through the universal magnetic field.
What future steps are you going to move forward with your research?
One way, based on this theory, we try to changing the world through technology innovation. So one thing we're working on is anti-gravity device. We can have a clean energy. I realize one thing is the chemical principle, as well as a biological principle, is at this moment is all based on the quantum solution, which is something does not even exist. One thing is all the elements, all the combining force for all the chemistry elements is all about the magnets. So that means you can do a chemical experiment. You can just use magnets to come out with naturally what kind of structure is give you the stable, most stable structure, and what kind of structure can have a different functions, can flexible and can easy to rotate. You can just use magnets to simulate all the chemical experiment. I believe life will be much simpler. And for biology, one thing I mentioned was missing from evolutionary biology is what is the driving force for life to come in the first place. And the second thing is, what is the code? We say everything depends on the genetic code. I wanted to share some, if you look at what is the DNA's double helix, right? Double helix, they are interconnected through those bases. Their connections through opposite magnetic poles.
Awesome. Thank you, doctor. And good luck on all your future research, man. Awesome. Thank you. It's beautiful. Future is bright. It's a wonderful time to be alive.
We're so used to picking produce by how perfect it looks. Symmetrical fruits, straight carrots, picture pretty potatoes. But that obsession with visual beauty hides a huge inefficiency. Tons of perfectly edible food get thrown away. Meanwhile, millions of people don't have reliable access to enough food, which makes this not just wasteful, but deeply unfair. It's a moral issue as much as a logistical one.
Ugly produce is often wasted because retailers enforce strict cosmetic standards, rejecting perfectly good items for their shape, size, or color. This gives farmers little incentive to harvest misshapen crops if buyers won't take them. Consumers, conditioned to view odd-looking produce as inferior, further perpetuate this cycle. Additionally, challenges in storage, transport, and donation, compounded by gaps between surplus and need, mean much edible produce never reaches consumers. Fortunately, many organizations globally are rescuing ugly surplus or unsold edible food for those in need. In the U.S., impactful groups like Imperfect Foods sell quirky, misshapen produce that would otherwise be discarded, partnering directly with farmers and even donating unsold items. Other companies offer ugly produce subscription boxes so people can get affordable, sustainable groceries delivered right to their door. On the nonprofit side, farm-to-food bank programs help food banks team up with farmers to collect surplus or imperfect crops backed by USDA grants that strengthen the pipeline from farms to communities. There are also gleaning programs across the country that gather extra produce from farms, gardens, and markets and send it straight to food banks to support people in need.
The food's not trash. This food is great, it's edible, it's fresh and delicious, and unfortunately it hits this landfill or trash can or compost can when it really didn't need to. My name is Nico Nebus. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I work at Urban Gleaners, where we rescue and redistribute food before it can go to waste. 7 days a week, we drive and go pick up leftover food. Maybe it's at a grocery store or a corporate cafeteria. We bring that food back here to the warehouse where we then sort that food, make sure it's up to quality, freshness standards. Anything that doesn't meet our standards is then, we call it pigged. All that food is donated to pig farmers in the area. Yeah, the pigs gotta eat. We then redistribute the fresh food at 42 different free food markets. You don't have to show proof of ID. You don't need to show your income to be able to come and get our food. You get to choose everything that you need for your household. No questions asked. We're just taking this food that should not be thrown away, and we're just offering it to anyone who needs it.
In Canada, the initiative 10 Servings runs Ugly Potato Day, where they give away hundreds of thousands of pounds of misshapen potatoes and vegetables for free, rescuing misfit produce and feeding food-insecure families. Globally, the Post-Harvest Education Foundation has a Rescue Fruits and Vegetables initiative that aims to connect farmers with excess produce to communities in need, reducing waste and improving access to fresh food. These are just a few shining examples, but they show how creative, grassroots, and large-scale efforts are bridging the gap between wasted food and hungry people. As a consumer, you can directly contribute to this movement. Buying ugly food is one of the easiest ways to cut down on waste and support a more sustainable food system. Choosing crooked carrots or lumpy tomatoes keeps perfectly good food out of landfills and challenges unnecessary cosmetic standards. It's often cheaper, fresher, and works perfectly in soups, smoothies, and baking. By embracing ugly produce, you're valuing food for its flavor and nutrition, not its appearance.
Today's tip, don't forget to eat ugly. This was really big a couple years ago where the whole ugly vegetable and fruit had a moment, but don't forget about them. Especially if you shop at farmers markets, you might see produce that looks like this, and avoiding ugly fruits and vegetables causes a lot of unnecessary waste. If you have kids, look, it's a duck's foot or a little carrot person. I don't know, you can have fun with it. The taste of these is going to be exactly the same. Cosmetic imperfections don't affect nutrition, and they don't affect your ability to cook with them. My kids would love this one. In fact, they might even seek this potato butt out for dinner. At home, if something starts to rot or wilt or gets a bruise on it, you don't always have to throw out the whole thing. You can slice that part off and cook the rest of it. If you start to notice something like your leafy greens are getting soft or starting to wilt, take action when you notice it. As soon as that starts in the next day or two, it might turn the whole vegetable. But if you notice it and then pluck those bits out, put the spinach in a new Tupperware lined with a paper towel, you'll actually extend the life of that spinach for another day or two, preventing it from having to go to waste in the first place. If you have fruit like apples with a blemish or bananas, just cut that part off and you can use the rest. You do want to watch out for anything that smells bad or bubbles or changes the texture. Anything that's too far gone, be safe and throw it out, but take plans next time so that it doesn't go to waste. Ugly food deserves some love too, and it'll help you save the planet. And also, you paid for it, why not cook it?
Ugly produce waste needs to be addressed throughout the food chain. While new initiatives are raising awareness, bigger changes are needed in how retailers and shoppers view perfect produce. Wasting food isn't just harmful to the planet. It's a missed opportunity to feed those in need. Redirecting edible but imperfect foods and vegetables into food programs saves money, improves nutrition, supports farmers, and makes the system fairer and less wasteful. Now it's your turn. Join our weekly meetings and become a field messenger. More information is available at our website, unitednetwork.earth. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.